Okay, let's check out the homework. You had the 20 question challenge. I want to see if you can get all of these correct. It's okay if you didn't, but you're learning, right? So 22 plus 19. I'm going to show my work, line it up vertically. 9 plus 2 is 11. Carry the 1, 2, 3, 4. So number 1 is 41. Number 2, you see this business right here, remember? So what I want you to think about and what we learned last class was the opposite of a negative is a positive. Rewrite it. Okay, so I'm going to circle these two because that is the opposite of negative 2. So the opposite of negative 2 is plus 2. And then I bring down the 16, right? So 16 plus 2 is 18. That's how you do those problems. 12 plus 7 is mental math, 19. All right, just to prove number 4 works, I'm going to do this a little bit differently with the positives and negatives. So if you're confused, you can always do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm running out of space. 10, 11. I have 11 positives, right? And now negatives, I have 9 of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Remember, we know that the opposite of a negative is a positive, but we also learned that opposites cancel to make 0. So check this out. Opposites cancel to make 0. It's like having $1 and spending $1. They cancel. So cancel, cancel, cancel. And this is going to happen, think about it. It's going to happen 9 times because I've got 9 positives and 9 negatives in common. And then I say, all right, well, what's left? What's left is what you have for the answer. So 2. 2 is your final answer. And if you think about a real life problem, if you said it went up 11 degrees and then it dropped 9, you're 2 degrees. Okay, and remember, anytime you have these signs next to each other, that opposite of a negative, circle them, write it as a positive. Okay, next section here. Tricky question. We see the opposite of negative 15 is a positive 15. Now I rewrite it. 25 plus 15. Think, real life problem. I'm 25 feet below sea level. And then I rise 15. Did I make it to the surface? No, I'm still in the water, right? But I'm in the water 10 feet. So if you want a rule to remember it, remember that when signs are different, positive and negative, you're always going to subtract 25 minus 15, all right? And take the sign of the bigger number. But I like to think about real life problems. All right, negative 14 plus 23. I spent $14, I gained 23. All right. If you want to, you can circle this whole part of the expression and move it to the front using the commutative property and write it like this, 23 minus 14. So that negative 14 just became minus 14 because they're the same thing. So 23 minus 14. I'm going to line it up because I want to make absolutely certain I can do it. I have to borrow. And 13 minus 4 is 9, and there we go. 9. 9 is my final answer. A lot of you are going to get this wrong. You're going to say 10 for an answer. So I want you to think about this. I spend $14. I spend $4. Spend. That's down, right? So I'm adding the negatives, and I can rewrite it as an addition problem if I want to. 14 negatives, 4 negatives. I can put a plus sign between the two, and I say, oh yeah, I'm adding the negatives. You have 18 total negatives there. All right, here we go. The opposite of a negative is a positive. Negative 13 plus 10. Signs are different. Subtract, right? I went down 13 floors, and then I rose 10 floors. I'm still in negative. I'm at negative 3. Okay, next section. Spend 60, gain 35. Signs are different. When they're different, you always subtract because we're going to have canceling going on. When you subtract, put whatever you have more of on top, right? So I get 10 minus 5 is 5. 5 minus 3 is 2. I have 25. But then after I do that, I got to ask myself, what do I have more of? I have more negatives than positives. And think, if I went down 60 feet into the water and rose 35, did I make it out of the water? No, you're still in the water, right? So it's negative 25. Here's that negative. I spend 2, I spend 12. add the negatives. If I showed you here, 1, 2 negatives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They're all the same, right? So if they're all the same, you add them. I have 14 negatives. There's no canceling going on, right? All right, first 10 questions are down. How do we do? Hopefully good. 18 minus 25. Well, this is positive 18. This is negative. I have to subtract because the signs are different. And when I subtract, I have to put what I have more of on top. But you don't have to make it so complicated. Just count from 18 up to 25. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. That's a difference of 7 when you subtract the 2. But when you're done, do I have more positives or more negatives? I have more negatives, right? All right, next one. 15 positives, 19 negatives. So I've got more negatives than positives, so I know my answer is going to be negative. And then I'm going to say, all right, well, when I subtract, counting from 15 to 19, that's a difference of 4. So negative 4. If you thought about number line, if I go 15 this way and 19 back, I'm going to be on the negative side, right, if this is 0. Okay, next one. 22 minus 28, positive and a negative, right? So if I jump in the air 22 feet and then I fall 28, I'm in the ground or I'm in the water, right? I passed that 0 marker. I don't know if that's the best example. 6 feet under. Ah. Okay, negative 6. There you go. All right, next one. Easy problem. 20 plus 12 is 32. Moving on. We're getting there. Okay, opposite of a negative is a positive. I write positive 12. Negative 16 plus 12. That's a difference of 4, and you have more negatives, right? So your answer is going to be negative. 22 minus 25. Well, if I had $22 and someone asked for 25, I couldn't do it. But if I loan them, if I had credit card, I could go negative 3, right? You go beyond 0. All right, tricky. You got 3 things going on. Clean it up. Opposite of a negative is a positive. I'm going to rewrite this whole problem, right? And I'm going to combine what's alike. 12 plus 4 is 16. 16 minus 10 is 6. Mr. Lady, you want to be our special guest today? All right, I'm just recording a lesson here. And 18, 8's cancel, and you're left with negative 10. And we got 2 problems left. Mr. Ladies, you want to join us?
I'm just going to learn.
He's going to learn. Oh, he's going to sit and learn. Okay, all right. Absolute value of negative 12 is 12. You got 12 compared to 12. They're equal. The absolute value of negative 9 is 9. 9 compared to 0. 9 is bigger. So hopefully you guys did a good job on that. And we'll see you next time.